Hi everyone, I'm going to continue the series of the daily Daf Yomi. We are on Daf Mem Tet of Masechet Bava Kamma. I'm going to speak a bit about this episode of the Akeidat Yitzchak, which is containing the pasuks within regards to this in this week's Daf here on page 49 on Masechet Bava Kamma, and deal with other things also. We're talking about how do we value slaves in or servants, we might call it, inside the Torah. How do we value them? Do we value them as individuals or as property potentially? And we're learning this all out in today's stuff within regards to, God forbid, if someone is going to injure someone else and cause the other person to miscarry. What's significant? Obviously, there's going to be a significant compensation paid within regards to the respective parties, and we derive how much all these things are within regards to potentially values, within regards to servants and everything else. But we quote a pasuk in today's stuff at the start of today's stuff here on Mem Tet Amud Aleph within regards to something that a story that actually occurs, which we learn about in Parshat Vayera, at the end of Parshat Vayera in Sefer Bereshit. So friends, what happened over here? The pasuk actually relates over how Avram is taking Yitzchak and they're going to go to Har Moriah. Yitzchak doesn't know what's going to happen at this point in time. He's taking also with him Yishmael and also his servant Eliezer. Eliezer, one of the righteous servants, person that, according to many opinions, it's related over. He actually goes to Olam Haba alive. He walks the Gan Eden alive at the end because he was such a righteous servant, but that's another story in of itself. However, he takes with them at the time when they're traveling, he has got a chamor. What is chamor? A chamor is a donkey. That's the animal he rode at that point in time in this story. So he tells his servant Eliezer and also his son Yishmael respectively, you stay with the donkey and I'm going to go with Yitzchak. So what happened, friends? This pasuk is going to darshan out many of the teachings, some of the teachings in today's stuff. But what happened? Let's relive the story over here. What happened actually in this case in Parshat, we say at the end of Parshat Vayera. So what happened, friends? So at that point he was instructed by God that he is going to potentially take Yitzchak to Har Moriah, and he will be the korban. This is the whole basis of Rosh Hashanah with regards to the shofar. But what happened instead? Instead he took him up there, and obviously the servant Eliezer and Yitzchak stayed with the donkey. They didn't necessarily know the task that Avram is going to do. And remember, Avram actually ran with alacrity to do the mitzvah from the command of God. And at the end, he was as he took him up to Har Moriah, and the angels came and angels intervened, and Hashem said, "No, stop. We can see what a true faith of Hashem you actually are." And naturally, we see at the end, Yitzchak ends up. Sarah at the end is going to pass away at the start of Parshat Chayei Sarah, which will be within regards later on. But a lot of the basis of one of the reasons why the ram that comes, who he shechts instead of Yitzchak, we use those horns as a basis of the shofar, which we very much do all throughout Chodesh Elul. We will blow the shofar as a reminder of the love that Avram has for Hashem and how he's able to sacrifice everything for Hashem. In fact, Abraham actually had 10 tests it's related over, in which we learn about in Parshiot Lech Lecha, Parshiot Vayera, and also partly in Parshat Chayei Sarah. Also, it's a machloket to what the 10 tests were. So friends, what actually occurred with Abraham? There was obviously, he was thrown inside the fire of Ur Kasdim, which we learn about. Who threw him inside the fire? Nimrod, who was a king at the time. He threw him in, and a miracle actually occurred where he was able to walk around inside these fires, and as if he was walking in paradise. Other miracles happened. There was a war between the 4 kings and 5 kings, which we very much learn about in Parshat Lech Lecha. Also, that took place. Akeidat Yitzchak, respectively, the Brit Milah he had. Also, he had to drive away Yishmael and Hagar away from the house because of the very bad influence he had to Yitzchak. These are just to name but few. It just shows the greatness of Abraham. There was also the test that he has to wander around everywhere. Lech Lecha, go from land to land. He didn't know where he was going, and the pasuk commands him to travel. These were many tests that Abraham had, and it's a greatness of the Avot. Also, with the tasks they did, the love of Hashem they did. They just thought about Hashem, and we see that very much. So I wanted to concentrate a bit on that because I didn't really speak about this when I did the video on Parshat Chayesar, on Parshat Vayera just a few weeks ago. And it's a very, very interesting insight. Today's stuff is concentrating on miscarriages that could take place in regards to compensation, how these could come about, and talking all about how servants, what value do they possess, and how do we value them in those days? Because in those days, very much it was very common that people had servants. So wishing you all a fantastic day. I'd like to dedicate this video in memory of Brenda Frame, who passed away a while ago. She had a stone setting recently. And please, let's say blessings in her memory. Have a great day, guys, and take care.